Leader Growth Mastermind. It's so good to have you here. It's so great to see the interest in everyone, looking at developing themselves as leaders. So really want to expand on what the mastermind is so that people can, you can understand what it is, and more importantly, how it's going to help you and change you for the future. So before we dive in, I got a quick question for you, and feel free to ponder this as we go through. So the first question is, do you feel, okay, do you feel alone? You're alone. No one else out there helping you. Do you feel like imposter, like you don't know what you're doing? People are going to find out about you at some point, right? Lost, no idea where to go, how to get there. Do you feel like you just don't know what direction you need to go in? Unsupported. How many people feel unsupported by their supervisors, by their peers, by their organization as a whole? Do you feel unsure? That's another one. Not sure where to go, not sure what to do, who to talk to. Then, do you feel like you have no time? Time is such an important commodity in this day and age. Like everything is trying to bide at your time, trying to take your time away. And do you feel like everything's on fire? Like you don't know where to go because everything is a priority, everything is important. You have to do everything right now. And all these different feelings, they boil down to another overarching feeling, I would argue, and that is stressed. Do you feel stressed? So many leaders out there at this day and age feel stressed because of everything that I just mentioned, and probably so much more, right? So just think about that as we go through this PowerPoint today. And just, if those feelings are there, let's see how we can mitigate them, get rid of them, replace them with something different, something better, something positive. All right. And if you got anything else, feel free to drop them in the comments, right? If you have any other feelings that you would like to bring out, feel free to drop them in the comments. All right. So let's dive in. So I wanted to kick off with why community matters. Community matters. This day and age, community matters to basically overcome all those negative feelings that I just talked about. Because in the community, the community supports each other with both, individual and as well as common goals. Community also matters because it helps you grow your network, enables you to meet new people. And finally, community grows because you're learning and as well as you're helping others throughout. You see here, this is just a snippet from our group chat from the Leader Growth Mastermind. And it just talks about how, it's like a tribe, right? It's a tribe of people. So I wanted to kick off a bit so you know who's talking to you and you know where I come from. So I'm your Chief Leadership Officer. I am Scott McCarthy. I have over 20 years of leadership experience in the military. I've commanded soldiers up towards 200 members. And as well, I have 6 years under my belt now as a leadership podcaster. And I would even argue to say that I'm a long life student of leadership. So every podcast episode, I jump in and I interview an expert. It's not, it's just as much about me learning as it is for you. It's kind of like I'm a bit selfish, I guess I would say, because I am trying to learn the lessons, but at the same time, you get to learn the lessons as well. So there we go. That's who I am. All right. So what's a mastermind anyway? Because this is a term that gets thrown around a little bit now, but at the same time, not a lot of people actually understand what a mastermind is. So it was first coined by Napoleon Hill. And if you don't know who Napoleon Hill is, he was author who wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. And that's where he talks about the mastermind for the first time, where it's a group of people get together to help solve each other's problems. And basically, what we're looking at doing is we're trying to tap into that powerful collective intelligence, because one person, is not as powerful as many people, right? One person can't know everything. However, when you get a group of people together, then you're going to have obviously more experience, more expertise in the room, and the ability to solve problems at a higher level, which is what we're looking for, right? This is what we're trying to do, is solve problems. So that is what it is. It also incorporates a bit of facilitated learning and growth. And the reason for that, it's not to, call it a learning opportunity, but rather help the mastermind be steered in a direction, right? To have this goal. So if we just said, yeah, the mastermind's about anything, you showed up, we could be talking about sports one day, sports betting one day, parenting another day, how to barbecue something the next day. And it's just be all over the place. Whereas mastermind, with the facilitation, it keeps it geared towards that specific topic. Masterminds as well bring accountability and motivation, because you have that group of people, a group of peers. They're going to rely on you, and you're going to rely on them to achieve the goals that you're going after. And as well, as you hear people talk about, their successes and their wins, that is actually going to help motivate you. And finally, it's a safe and supportive environment. There's no judgments in masterminds. There's no basically, it's a safe environment. What talks about in the mastermind stays within the mastermind, and so on. So it's a very safe and supportive environment. Anyone who is judgmental or who basically challenges people in a negative way generally don't survive and are removed from mastermind communities. Oh, sorry, I just went one slide too fast. So I just want to quickly go over masterminds versus courses, because a lot of people, talk about courses and looking for courses. So I just want to give you a comparison between what a mastermind is and what a course is. So masterminds are based on versatile and flexible content. So they can change. They will change from time to time. Whereas a course is structured based on a single goal. So you could take a course basically on, let's say, conflict resolution, and that is it. That is the whole structure of the course. Whereas in a mastermind, you can have maybe a week, maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month on conflict resolution, and then you go and you change content again. A mastermind is coach facilitated with group input, whereas a course is instructor led. So with a course, you generally have some kind of expert, which is the next point you'll see. You have some kind of expert who's leading that learning. Whereas in a mastermind, it's a coach facilitated. So the coach isn't there basically saying to everyone, okay, this is what we're going to learn, but rather coach is facilitating, enabling the students and guiding the students through the discussion, the members, I should say, through the discussion, and going after that theme, that goal, that problem set, so on. It's a group learning environment within a mastermind community, whereas a course is instructor. So you're limited to the expertise of the structure or instructor, I should say, right? The instructor will have an expertise, and maybe they are the world's leading expert on the topic, but that is it. Whereas in a mastermind, you have the expertise of the whole group. You can channel into and tap into that whole group. It's very different. It's flexible to meet the members' needs, whereas courses have a rigid path. So it's basically back to the structure versus versatility again, where a course has very similar, has a structure with lessons and goals and so on. Whereas a mastermind, you can change on basically almost on the fly what you will be discussing, what you'll be learning through those different meets. Masterminds have immediate application of learning. So what do I mean by that? You can say, hey, I'm having this problem with one of my people at work, and you can get input from the group, and you can go ahead and use that literally the next day. Whereas courses, basically, you need to apply the lessons to the exact situation or adapt the learning to the situation. So it's really different. So for some courses, you have to get through the whole course before you can really apply the learning, or it's for a very specific situation. Whereas a mastermind is not. It's about any situation, every situation. Courses have short-term to medium-term growth. So with that, basically what it is what I mean here is that a course, you take a course and that's it. Your growth is limited to that course. The mastermind growth can be long-term because it can be as long as what you want it to be, which is tied into the next point where masterminds have no end dates, whereas courses have very specific start and end dates depending on the type. Okay. Some could be, self-directed courses, so they don't have those specific end start dates. You start when you start, you end when you end. But a lot of them, especially if their instructor is live with you, they will have very specific start and end dates. But the moral of the story here is it will end at some point, whereas a mastermind can continue forever. Just want to take a moment, and as my slide catches up, I want to highlight a success story. Actually, I'm going to highlight a few success stories through this presentation. Once my slide changes for some unknown. There we go. So this is Heather. Heather is one of the members. She agreed to let me talk about her on this webinar today. And she is a general manager of a company. So Heather came to us and she felt overwhelmed. She was constantly working. And I mean, it was to the point where the first call that Heather was on, she was constantly checking her phone. So that's how she was constantly working. Her family life was affected. She was, she barely ate with her family. They would literally be running from thing to thing. They weren't doing a whole lot together. And she felt really alone and isolated because the business owner really left Heather on her own. So she had no one to go to and discuss the issues that she was having prior to coming to us. So after she came to us and we saw results with Heather like immediately. I mean, it was amazing to watch. Now she takes time off. She took like weekends off. She took a long weekend. And then she's just taking breaks and took a few days off within the work week. She set boundaries between work and life. She no longer is attached to her phone in the evenings. She has delegated and empowered her team leads to take on some more responsibilities, which they actually have enjoyed and have really taken to. It's improved their family life. She talks about how well her family life is actually doing. They're actually having dinner together. They're actually, through the mastermind, she is actually working on their personal finances, for example. She feels empowered and um, supported. She has the community to come to with her issues, and believe me, she does. She's not shy, but she gets the advice, gets the input. She looks at her situation and she applies it. And based on that, she now has a new assistant working for her to help take the load off. So she was able to actually go and talk to her business owner and say, hey, I need help. This is why I need help. And convinced him to allow her to get someone to help her. So been fantastic. Heather's just a great success story here within the mastermind community. So let's move on. So let's talk specifically about the Leader Growth Mastermind, which is the one that I facilitate and that I run. So it's actually facilitated by myself and another military leader. Very similar background, very similar. He's got a few more years of experience uh, than I do, and we both facilitate. We take turns. I am the primary lead though. The monthly theme. So we go through a monthly theme within the Leader Growth Mastermind. And that theme goes through a cycle of my 3 domains of leadership. So if you haven't been following me for a long time, that's not a big deal. But 3 domains are leading yourself, so you the leader, leading your team. So that's all about the individuals within your organization, within your team. The Janes, the Sallys, the Joes, the Susans, the Jims, whoever, right? And how do you make that a cohesive and peak performing team? And then the final domain is leading your organization, the institution that is your organization. So your company, maybe your nonprofit, whatever. Okay. So we base our monthly theme on one of those 3 domains. We rotate through. We provide weekly curated content. So each week you get access to content that is based on the theme of the month. So I'm going to go through what we've actually gone through for just quickly this year. So January, we started off with team building. So hiring, onboarding, building trust. Those are some of the topics that we had discussed. The curated content was provided. Then we talked about organizational culture and diversity and social purpose and building your team's culture in February. March, we did active listening. So that's more towards yourself and how you can be a better listener for your team. In April, we talked about high performing teams through psychological safety and disciplines of high performing teams. Excuse me. May was all about leading your organization and using data to basically support your organization and making decisions, data-based decisions. And then June, we talked about personal productivity, so prioritization, optimizing your day, time management, etc. In July, it's been all about team productivity. So how do we run powerful meetings and keeping them, to the point, making sure we hit the core things. We talked about strengths finders. We talked about task management within your team. And then we also talked about the after action review. And this month in August, we've been hitting on strategy and building a strategy for your organization. So these are the different types of curated content that you get access to through the mastermind. Next, we have this is where really you're going to get your best bang for your buck. It's weekly group calls at 8 p.m. Eastern Thursdays. So those weekly group calls is where we get together on platform and we discuss our problems. And people throw their problems out, and they get advice back from the group. And this is really where you get the value, because you have this safe environment, which is the next point, to bring up these issues, and you get to tap into the experience of myself, the other coach, and everyone else within the group, and multiple perspectives. We have a diverse group of people who come on the calls with different backgrounds, and you can really truly peel the onion layers back of the problem that you're facing and see all the different aspects before running and making a decision. uh, it's a safe environment, so the calls are never recorded. Okay. And we have a basically an agreement where we don't discuss things that get discussed within the mastermind outside of the mastermind. And there's no judgment or anything like that. It's simply an environment to support each other in what's going on within our lives, as well as our work lives. And then finally, we do quarterly guest speaker Q&As. We've been just kicking this off recently. We're bringing experts to come and you get to listen to them, ask questions, so on and so forth. So we had one with Heather Younger, and that was all about the art of active listening. The one thing I want to just highlight when I talked about the curated content, I would suggest about 80% or more is actually based on the lessons I've been learning for the past 6 years of podcasting with all the different experts. So you're actually getting out of me all the knowledge that's been pushed into me. And that was always part of the point. So that's where you're getting access to. So it's not just me, but rather within all that curated content, there's probably multiple dozens worth of PhDs. So you're tapping into the expertise of years upon years of experience and research to really help yourself, help your team, help your organization. So that is the Leader Growth Mastermind in a quick overview. Next, what I would like to do is get another success story and RC. So this person never got back to me. So back to that safe environment, I've reached out to the people who I'm using as success stories, and I said, hey, do you mind me talking about them? This person, and I would just use your name and use their picture. This person never got back to me. So these are made up initials for this person. It's how much we take privacy and safety serious. So let's talk about this person, RC, shall we? So when this person came to us, and this person actually is original, like showed up day one when we first launched the Leader Growth Mastermind and opened the door. So long-standing member over a year now, or actually a year and a number of months. We launched last April. So they felt really stuck in their job. And actually it's guys, because I have his. So he felt stuck in his job. He wanted more. And really he was at a lower end job, well below his potential, but it was paying the bills and it was something that he was able to, make life work. But he also felt like a bit of an imposter. He felt like an imposter because he felt like he wanted more, but at the same time, he didn't believe in himself that he could do more. That's how he came and showed up to us. So working with him through months upon months, he then got a job interview and landed the job. And what you're going to see is he secured a new job in a growing field, but taking the lessons that he learned through the mastermind, he got a promotion while on probation with his new job. It's just unheard of. I've never heard of someone saying that. He's now consistently problem solving work issues well beyond his scope, to the point where one of the chief executives within the company is basically bringing him into their inner circle. He's actively actually himself changing the culture at his work by implementing the lessons that he's been learning. It's just phenomenal to watch this person just grow and hear the impacts that he's been having. We actually had an internal joke within the mastermind. We start calls with wins, our weekly wins. What's your small win? And we actually, for the longest time, was getting him to go last because his wins were dwarfing everyone else's because of everything that's been going on with him for so long. All the amazing things that were coming. It was like one after another, after another, after another. And it was just fantastic to see. And we kind of joked we forced him to be last for the wins because we all didn't want to feel bad that our wins weren't as great as his. So great success story again. So happy to see this person grow, but more importantly, achieve great things and help others, right? It's all about helping others. So who's the Leader Growth Mastermind for? It's for everybody. Executives, we have within the mastermind, we have executives, we have managers, we have entrepreneurs, we have solopreneurs, we have team members. So you see people from leading like high level to mid level to people who are not even actually quote unquote leaders, but you are, it doesn't matter. And then people who are, team members within the team, but want to help better the team. So again, you can see right there, just a message from one of our members, about how great the mastermind has been for them, and more importantly, that's been the missing piece for them. This person felt like they were drifting. And drifting, what I mean by drifting is that they were listening to the podcasts, they were reading the books, listening to the audiobooks, but they weren't necessarily taking action. And that's the one thing that the mastermind gives you. It gives you that space that you can come and get the advice, feel supported, and then be able to take the action. And if you need to come and vent, you got the space for that, because you don't necessarily want to bring all this to your work. You don't necessarily want to bring this onto your family. You don't all the time, but within the community, we understand, we get each other, and we enable you to do those things, because it's about improving the quality of your life as a leader, and not just about improving the quality of your leadership. And those are not words from me. Those are actually words from my next success story that's coming up. And that is, sorry, not yet. So a few FAQs before we dive into the Q&A session. When can I join? You can join anytime. If you go to leaddon'tboss.com/mastermind. And I'm going to drop these links in the chat for you, actually, so that you have them right now. So you can go ahead and check it out. So this is the info landing page for it. So it's leaddon'tboss.com/mastermind. And you can check out the mastermind, and right there, you can click the button and join right now, today. So there you go. That question answered, I should say. And by the way, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in. All right. You can ask questions. Feel free to ask questions if you have any. Just check this platform. Yep, you can. Okay. This platform is new to me, so I just want to double check that it was available to you. So yeah, you can definitely ask questions. So feel free to do so. Throw them in the Q&A section there, and I will answer them for you. So this is the link to the info, all right, for the mastermind, and you can literally join right there. When does it end? Next question. When does it end? Okay. It doesn't. There's no end date. It ends when you feel like leaving. Okay. So there is no end date. Just as I did the comparison between a mastermind and a course, there is no end date. How long until I can access it? Immediately. You sign up, you have access as long as you're at your computer or your phone, and access to your email. You will be in within minutes, if not less. So it's immediate access. Getting in. Do you need Facebook to be in it? No, you don't need Facebook. Actually, we have a platform which is completely off of Facebook. We do have a closed Facebook group because I enjoy it for live videos, as well as the chat function is really good through Facebook Messenger and stuff, but it's not necessary. You don't have to. You get access to everything off of Facebook, actually, without any issues whatsoever. And you still can access to putting up posts. you can still go ahead and chat with people. So no need to be on Facebook. Am I committed for a certain amount of time? No, you can come as long as you want. It's up to you. So there's no, oh, you must be in for 3 months, you must sign up for a year, etc. And then finally, what if I decide it's not for me? So if you decide it's not for you, no big deal. We've had people come, we've had them go for a variety of reasons. Some people decided it wasn't for them, it wasn't what they were looking for. That's cool. Some people, due to personal situations, decided to leave. That's cool. The big thing is people wonder is, do I get my money back? And the answer is yes. Within the first month, if you decide it's not for you, it's 100% refund. No questions asked. Thank you for trying us out, and best of luck. And if you ever change your mind, we're here waiting for you. And we've had a couple of people, and a lot, and we've done that for sure. So it's not a big deal whatsoever. In fact, I encourage it. We don't want people who believe that it's not for them within it, but I'm almost certain that if you get in there, you're going to stay and you're going to love it. All right. So before the Q&A, I just wanted to talk about a final success story. And this is Andrea. This is the one who actually did that quote. It's improving. It's about improving the quality of your life as a leader, not just improving your quality of your leadership. And Andrea, thank you for that amazing quote. That is phenomenal whatsoever. So one of the other things that Andrea said to me in the chat to me direct, she mentions how people witness your struggles and your successes, but not many people understand how much effort goes into those things, right? Your family, your friends are going to say, wow, congratulations, and pat you on the back, but that's because they love you. And it's not just because they love you. Let me rephrase that. They love you, and of course they're going to do that. But the difference of people who are like-minded with you, they're going to understand what you went through to get to where you are and what you're going through to go to the next step. And it's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. So being surrounded by people that are like-minded, enabling you to really feel that success. And sometimes it's actually the inverse in that when you show up and you say, yeah, I did this little thing, and we go, wait, now, like that wasn't little. We know, and we can highlight to you that no, it was actually a big deal what you did, and here's why. And we've done that a number of times. People realize that they're making big strides, they're making impacts, they're doing amazing things. So that's the power, and that's what Andrew's getting at. So anyway, Andrea came to us, and she's been with us for quite some time now. She had a high level of imposter syndrome. She needed boundaries with her supervisor, and she had this all or nothing mindset. So a lot of things. And to be fair to Andrea, she was in a tough situation. They had a new team. She was the team lead for a newly established team. They had to establish themselves in a new building where they took up real estate from another team's real estate, like workspace. And there was a lot of problems, but she got through them, and she realized that she is doing a great job. And to see now where she's going to, that she's highly confident in her abilities. She's done some amazing things, and she's really gelled her team together. Her supervisor now is respecting her boundaries as the team lead. She's not, kind of leaning over her back. She's working on. She's not done. It's a thing that takes time, and she's fixing her all or nothing mindset. So before, she would try something. If she couldn't do it right away, she'd be like, "Oh, see, I couldn't do it. I'm either in or I'm out." But she's fixing that, and she's working on it. And then finally, she's got some help hired. We helped her work through this. And Andrea actually works in the public environment, so with a public government-owned run organization. So getting new people hired in those organizations is tough. Getting the approvals for the position to be created and then actually going through the hiring process, it is tough. It's a slog. I've been there. I know what it's like, and we helped her with that. The whole goal was to really get her through, and we got her through, and she got a new assistant hired. And Andrea now is she's with us, I think for life, to be honest. And as well as we grow, the plan for our weekly calls is that once we hit so many people, we're actually going to expand the calls and have more of them at different times, different days, to really help reach more people. And Andrea is going to be one of the new team call leads. So she's going to be taking on that responsibility in the near future as our numbers grow. So she's just a fantastic, fantastic success story. We absolutely adore her. She's great. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the Leader Growth Mastermind. I do have a final thing. You're probably wondering what the cost is. It's $49 US per month or $490 per year. So that per year gives you 2 months free at that rate. So just FYI. And you can sign up anytime whatsoever. Again, you can check it out and you can sign up anytime that you want, and those rates don't change. So there you go. Just a couple of comparisons. You can think of it this way: it's a $1.63 per day monthly, or $1.34 if you go to yearly route. So it's super affordable. Like, and the thing is, like, you won't find that many mastermind communities out there that is as well. So really interested. And then the final thing is, you think about it, you go to Starbucks like I did today, the average Starbucks cost is $2.75. So if you go to Starbucks every day, you're paying more for that cup of coffee than you are for what you get out of the Lead the Growth Mastermind. So if you're ready to take the challenge, take the plunge, here's the link here. Feel free to join up. We're waiting for you. We're excited to have you. And we can't wait to see what you bring in both the challenges, but as well what you strengths you bring to the collective as well. So with that, I am ready. I'm here. Should you have any questions, feel free to ask them away. Well, I guess I did a great job of explaining what the mastermind is and what it brings to the table, and more importantly, what you get out of it, so that uh, there are no questions actually going on. So thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you. And do take care. Remember, as always, lead, don't boss. And we'll see you next time now.